High Commissioner, thank you very much for giving us this time and agreeing to speak with us. We are speaking at the backdrop of a great movement of people that is happening in Dhaka, capital of Bangladesh, the Shabak Square. What is the genesis of this protest or movement, whatever you want to call it? Can you tell us that?
Well, first of all, it's a pleasure having you here at Bangladesh Embassy, High Commission, and it's a pleasure to be talking to you. Yes, I would like to try and give you my take of what's happening at Shabak. As you know, it's been called the New Generation Square, which is the literal translation of the Bangla term for it. I look at it more symbolically as the Renaissance Square. I call it the Renaissance Square because it is a renaissance of the spirit of the liberation struggle that actually led to our independence, which we had to wrest at great cost to ourselves. And these people, these young people, have suddenly something triggered them off and came out. And what triggered them off was one of the judgments on the war crimes trial being held. As you are aware, Sheikh Hasina's government in her election commitment had said that she would try bring the war criminals to justice. This has been a long festering demand, sometimes vocal, sometimes subdued, and this was one of her election commitment, as well as bringing to trial people accused of other heinous acts of terrorism. Right. There has been a growing sense that unless you bring crime and criminality to trial and to justice, the culture of impunity which had grown in Bangladesh over the last 35 years plus would continue to take hold of the state itself. Right. Now, I have been questioned, why now? How have these young people come out? And my the rational answer I can find is that when the first judgment was passed, there was not.
And it was a life sentence.
It was no. The first judgment was a death sentence, but the person was tried in absentia. Right. He had fled to Pakistan, I believe, right. and it was welcome, but it did not trigger off a mass outpouring.
That's right.
Before the second judgment was to have been passed, somebody from the Jamaat, I forget who it was, had issued a statement that if this second judgment is passed, there will be a civil war, or worse to that
kind
effect.
of a warning was given.
And then when finally the second judgment was passed, it was a life sentence. And what triggered off, I think, was the fact that he came out, he smiled and beamed at the television cameras and flashed the V sign. It was almost saying that, our threat worked and you've got me in for life. Let's see how long I remain.
Right. That is a kind of a unstated position.
That, I think, triggered off everyone to say that he can't thumb his nose at the justice system and get away with it.
Right. So that, but the connectivity with the young people, how did that come?
That was, you see, nowadays young people are connected widely. There's a very wide network of connectivity. One person has a friend of 10 or 20 people, he shares it, and you have the tool of the mobile networks being there, the social networks being there, and it just passed like wildfire. It spread like wildfire. I look back on phenomenon like this, where mass pourings have come out as a result of such social connective interconnectedness. Right. And although what happened in China in '89 was something like that, it was a spontaneous pouring out.
And you were witness to it?
Yes, I was witness there. But the mobile phone was still not largely used in those days. In fact, it was not there.
Yeah.
The first such outpouring I remember was in Seattle against the WTO. I think it was '88 or '89. Sure. That was a result of this sort of networking and social connecting, where people of similar ideas responded to somebody or the other saying, we will not allow this to happen, and they poured out.
Sure.
And similarly then, after that, you have seen this phenomenon growing, whether it was against the war in Iraq or other different issues, or against the regimes. So, you know, whether you call it the Rose Revolution or the Tahrir Square or whatever, these are very similar phenomena. And it has been facilitated by this availability of this tool of people connecting to each other.